Could be. Could be. The classroom felt quiet all morning. Was that really the case, or did the day just feel that way since Mion wasn't here today? I wasn't really sure. Mion always has a strong presence, there's no doubt about that, but regardless, she's absent today. Apparently she caught a particularly stubborn cold. Club activities are usually suspended anytime Mion is out. However, we tend to cancel club activities when anyone is missing. Everyone loves our club activities. Everyone was thinking the same thing, that we wanted to hear Mion making a ruckus again as soon as possible. With Mion out, my chances of victory would have been much higher. That's what you think. But I've been losing a lot recently. I just couldn't concentrate. I kept thinking about Mion. And that extended beyond just club activities, too. The feeling has plagued me throughout my daily life for the past few days. And today was a particularly low point. For better or worse, the stories I've heard left me far too exhausted to endure a penalty. And today's punishment game will have to be postponed until next time. That's what allowed me to escape a penalty today. Once again, Rena and I had to head home alone. Even though Mion couldn't come, the Higurashi were still crying out like usual. No matter who's gone, the Higurashi will continue to cry out no matter what happens the day before. Well, isn't that the case?
どうしたのケイチくん。遠い目になってるよ。
え、何？
レナが聞いてるんだよ。なんか考え事かな？かな？
いや、別に。
次の罰ゲームが怖いのかな？かな？
そんなとこかな。
Rena was bringing up unusually random topics. The conversation felt like Rena wasn't acting like herself. Maybe she was starting to get suspicious of me. Or maybe there was just no space left in my head to process Rena's small talk.
そういえば最近、ケイチくん部活負けっぱなしだね。
なんか調子出なくてさ。
じゃあ、ようか？
え？なんて言った？
だからね、ケイチくんが調子出るようにお漬物でも差し入れようかって。
I could do with a good pickle right about now.
前に美味しいって言ってくれたから。
ああ、サンキュー。
I think I'll pick some up when we go grocery shopping tonight. Mion, or rather that story I heard from Mion, has been stuck inside my head ever since I first heard it.
ケイチくんってば。
Rena was still talking to me. She'll probably be disappointed in me if I ignore her, but I just couldn't bring myself to focus on that.
そういえばさ、富武さんの話、何か聞いた？
Tomitake-san. Tomitake-san!
どうして？
レナのところにね、来たの。警察の人が。
Tomitake-san's story. Why would the police be asking Rena about that?
レナ、そいつはどんな話を？
The moment I said that, my voice was drowned out by the sound of a car horn. Oh, good. And then there's this asshole. A black car had stopped right beside Rena and I. The car's imposing presence had me feeling on edge. Alarm bells were going off inside my head. A middle-aged man emerged from the car.
すみません。
はい。
前原圭一さんですか？
そうですけど。
Who is this old guy? I never met him before, but despite that, he already knew my name. The atmosphere clearly felt abnormal. When I studied his features, he looked like a slightly pudgy but not quite overweight middle-aged man. He seemed the kind of person that could flex every muscle in his body in a crisis. His body seemed appropriate for an elderly judo master. At least, that's the impression I got. His voice sounded soft, but there was nothing sweet or carefree in his gaze. His type made it difficult to guess his occupation. No, I felt like there were a lot of occupations that would match his type.
ちょっと話があるんですけど、よろしいですか?
What's the best way to answer a sudden question like that? Just then I felt a tug on my sleeve. It was Rena.
今日はね、一緒にお買い物なの。はう。
Rena's comment was so abrupt it took me a moment to figure out what she was getting at. But I whispered to Rena to let her know that I understood completely.
この人だよ。
When Rena said, "This is him," it was obvious she was referring to someone in particular. This must be the detective that visited Rena, and Rena was doing her best to get me away from him. Would it be better to stick with Rena and decline this man's request?
ほら、とんだ邪魔者みたいですね。
You have no idea.
そうなっちゃいますね。
いやいや、申し訳ないです。なるべく早くに済ませますから。ね。
はあ。でも、何のご用ですか?
私は、沖宮署の大石と申します。
大石さんですか?
お話の内容については、お隣の竜宮レナさんから伺ってませんか?
特に何も。なあ、レナ。
何も話してません。誰にも話すなって言われましたから。
それはいい心がけです。こちらとしては助かります。で、その同じ話を前原さんにもさせてもらえないかと。お願いできませんかね?
No.
今じゃないとダメなんですか?
お買い物だよね。ね。
Rena continued to pressure him. But despite his soft appearance, this detective Ooishi was still reluctant to give a yes or no answer.
竜宮さん、お気持ちはわかりますがね。今日のところは前原さんをお借りできませんか? ねえ、前原さん。お願いしますよ。
It seemed impossible to get away from this guy, so I gave Rena a subtle wink. Rena looked a bit uneasy, but she lightly nodded in response.
わかりました。お話を伺います。レナ、悪い。先に帰ってくれ。
うん、わかった。また明日ね。ね。
助かります。お邪魔しちゃってすみません。これも仕事なんでね。
This was America, I'd be saying, "I want a lawyer, please?" Or even the Japanifornia of Ace Attorney. I'd still want a lawyer. Once Rena started heading home, I entered Ooishi-san's car. It was nice and cool inside the car. In fact, it was rather cold. This must be a luxury car to have an air conditioner like that. Or maybe it's just my dad's car that doesn't have AC.
冷えすぎだったら言ってくださいよ。私、ガンガンに冷やしちゃうたちですから。
The conversation was progressing at Ooishi-san's pace. I was a little annoyed, but didn't think of anything I could do to fight it.
すみませんね、急な話で。
Yeah. It felt like this detective was able to read everything inside my heart. At this point, I was having trouble figuring out what type of person he was. However, I get the general impression it would be best not to make an enemy of him. Ooishi-san swiftly pulled a notebook out of his breast pocket and began flipping through it, then pulled out a photo sandwiched between the pages. It looked like a driver's license photo or something, and I could see the expressionless face of a man. Then I began to tremble, because I recognized that face.
この男性のことでご存知のことがあったら教えてください。竜宮レナさんはじめ前原さんもお知り合いのはずですよね。
これ富武さん。
Tomitaki, he's a photographer. Comes here about every year. What about him? Why would this detective come all the way to ask me about Tomitaki-san, other than the fact that your name was written on his shirt? I don't know. What was he trying to accomplish?
ちなみに彼、祭りの夜から失踪しています。最後に会った時のことを聞かせてもらえませんかね。
祭りの夜に会ったのが最後ですけど。
それきり会ってないんですね。
ええ。
そうですか。
Ooishi-san scribbled something in his notebook as he listened. I wonder what he's writing down. Are those investigation notes?
それで前原さん、あなたはこの男性が失踪するような理由、何か心当たりありますか？
いえ、全くありません。
人から恨まれていたとか、男女関係で揉め事を起こしていたとか、些細なことで構いませんよ。何かこの人について教えてくださいよ。粘着質な性格で女性からは相当嫌われていたっていうような話も耳にしてるんですがね。もしかしたらストーカーまがいのことをして逆恨みでもされてたかな。
Literally know nothing about him in that
富武さんはそんな人じゃないです。
Ooishi-san was speaking far too brazenly of the deceased. I wanted to say so much. It felt like he was disrespecting a dead man, and I wanted to stand up for him. However, my rage drove me to respond without thinking things through.
いえ、すみません。つい。でも本当に富武さんはみんなの人気者でした。殺されるような理由なんて全く思い当たらない。
Right then, Ooishi-san raised an eyebrow. That moment, I realized the error in what I just said.
おや？彼が殺されたことをどうして知っているんですか？
Damn it, I noticed it far too late.
私は失踪したと言いました。でもあなたは今、はっきりと殺されたと言った。
Damn it, it was just clear from his expression. Ooishi-san's face twisted into a grin. Ooishi-san seemed to have discerned something from my hasty response.
確かに富武さんは亡くなっています。でもこの件は警察内の秘匿事項のはずなんですがね。誰からその話を聞きましたか？
I struggled to find the words to respond. There's no way I can tell him I heard it from Mion. The police were already starting to suspect Mion, so if I dropped her name here, the consequences could be disastrous. While I sat in silence, Ooishi-san spoke up to move things along.
園崎ミヨンさんのことをご存知ですか？
Hearing Mion's name so suddenly got my blood pumping.
そりゃクラスメートなんで。
I kept my answer ambiguous. I wanted to get out of here as soon as possible. I was completely overwhelmed by the desire to run away.
そういう意味じゃありませんよ。
I did my best to avoid getting upset or distracted with my answers, but Ooishi-san kept staring into my heart with those sharp eyes. Despite the laughter in his voice, I could see no happiness in Ooishi-san's eyes.
じゃあどういう意味で？
素顔とでも言いますか。園崎ミヨンが本当はどういう人物なのか という意味です。
I was momentarily stunned by the temperature difference as I stepped out of Ooishi-san's car. Ooishi-san told me about a Mion completely different from the Mion I knew. It started during the dam conflict. Mion was taken into police custody several times for engaging in anti-dam protest activities. It was among the village's earliest acts of rebellion against the dam. Oh, hang on, I gotta look at something here real quick. I must do a check of something here. It has absolutely nothing to do with what I'm recording. I don't know how new this really is. I mean, I know we've heard about her getting taken into custody before. I recall them talking about it at points. Come on, would you load over here? Might drop me some frames when I do this, but it is something I need to look at. You're not going to load for me, are you? There we go. Okay. Nope. That is still waiting, sadly. That was a nice thought. Anyway. Among the village's earliest acts of rebellion against the dam, and Mion was a leading official in the orchestration of resistance activities. The resistance activities were organized by the Sonozaki family. I heard that gangsters and organized crime groups were involved. Even more surprisingly, she has essentially become the leader of the Sonozaki family. How far did the Sonozaki family's reach extend? Just listening to it had me shivering. Mion is the acting leader of the Sonozaki family. Mion is the ruler of this village. That was the same Mion who warned me about the dangers of the Sonozaki family. But Mion herself sat at the top of the family. So why? Why tell me that story at the library? Maybe she was trying to give me a warning? By personally revealing the dark side of the Sonozaki family to me. I could be eliminated if I start talking about these things, so I need to stay quiet. Mion Sonozaki. I thought of her as a nice older friend who was good at being the leader. But in fact, just then a chill ran down my spine. I wasn't sure if it was because of the air conditioning or something completely different. For now, I should just head home. I was in the mood to just crawl into bed. So I walked home at a brisk pace. All kinds of thoughts were spinning through my head as I made my way home. First and foremost, I wanted to feel a vague sense of security. Once my house came into view, I finally started to feel safe. Then, right as I was on the verge of putting my hand on the door, I heard a voice from behind.
Keiichi-kun?
It was Rena calling out to me.
Rena! なんで俺んちの前に?
Rena didn't respond to my question. She just kept staring at me.
ずいぶん遅かったんだね。
She was supposed to head home right when I got into Ooishi-san's car. But if Rena never went home, was she waiting for me in front of my house this whole time?
そうだよ。ケイイチ君の帰りをずっとここで待ってたの。
It's been a long time since I got into Ooishi-san's car. That's not normal. It's like she wasn't just waiting for me, but setting up an ambush. And for such a long time, Rena's behavior is a bit abnormal, isn't it?
そうなんだ。それは悪かったな。あの刑事。
そうなんだ。
Blah. What did he say? Detective made it hard to get away. Okay.
ひどいね。
These answers are not satisfying her curiosity, Keiichi. Rena was looking more and more upset. But I couldn't tell if her discomfort was stemming from Ooishi-san or from me.
ていうかさ、何の用なんだ。ずいぶん待っただろ、こんなとこで。
圭一くんのこと心配だったから待ってたんだよ。
The tone of Rena's voice was too hard, too cold, and too strong. It was frightening. Did I say something to offend her? Am I overthinking it? Rena seemed upset when I left her earlier. Was it just an extension of that? Somehow, I get the impression Rena was unusually oversensitive. It might be best to avoid provoking her here. I looked downward as I pondered that, and then I noticed. Come to think of it, what did Rena even have to be worried about? Ooishi-san's a detective, so he'd never do anything unsafe with me. Then why was Rena so worried about me? If Rena's worried about me spending time with the detective, then it's not my safety she's worried about. It still could be. I mean, it's Ooishi. It's not completely out of the question for that to be the concern. So then, what on earth was Rena so worried about she'd set up such an awkward ambush?
ありがとう。でも別に心配ないからさ。
何を聞かれたの？
Rena looked me directly in the eyes with a sharp gaze. It was a strong signal with the implication that escape was impossible. Was Rena trying to figure out what I told the detective? Why? It was startling. I couldn't possibly tell the police things I shouldn't even know about the Sonozaki family. No way. Impossible. Thoughts I'd rather not think about kept swirling around inside of my head. Why would Rena be so concerned about the Sonozaki family? The answer was obvious. Rena was working with Mion. If Mion asked Rena to keep an eye on me, then everything added up. A shiver started crawling up my back. I didn't say anything. Nothing that would make me an enemy of the Sonozaki family. I didn't know anything unsavory in the first place. That's right, I didn't hear anything from Mion, so I don't know anything. So I'll be alright. Calm down, Keiichi Maebara. Then I took a deep breath and responded to Rena in the lightest tone I could muster.
あ、レナに聞いた話だったよ。
富武さんの？
そう。他は別に何も。
本当に？圭一くん、顔が青いけど大丈夫かな？
Blue face is probably normal with Keiichi. Nothing to worry about. Rena sharpened her gaze and looked straight into my eyes. Rena doubted me, but I really didn't know anything, so there was no need to get upset. Calm down. Everything is fine.
そうかな。大丈夫だって。他には本当に何も聞かれなかった。
みーちゃんのことも？
Oh, good. Mion? Why? Why would Rena suddenly drop Mion's name? Why would she bring Mion up right here, right now? Rena must be working with Mion after all. All that accomplished was making me even more worried. But that's alright. even if Rena and Mion are in cahoots, I really didn't tell the detective anything.
ミオン別に何も聞かれなかったぜ。
そうそれ本当かな。
You're a liar, Keiichi.
私の時はみーちゃんの話をされたよ。
Rena gave me a suspicious glare as she said that. Her eyes seemed to pierce right through me. I hesitated for a moment to decide whether I should tell the truth. Nah, if I change my story now, it'll only make me look even more suspicious. I have no choice but to keep it going.
女同士だからじゃないか。
そうかな。本当にそうかな。なんでだろうね。でも当然レナは何も話さなかったけどね。
そうだよな。
I had no idea what she thought was so natural about that, but at any rate, I gave her a vague answer just to keep things moving.
それに私、裏切り者じゃないしね。
Yeah.
レナが裏切り者なんて思ったこともないぞ。
そうだよね。それに、みーちゃんを怒らせたら怖いからね。
Oh, good. She has the Satoko laugh. Rena's laughter didn't sound cheerful at all. If anything, it sounded like ridicule, mocking me for being a coward. Was that a threat? Was Rena trying to force me to keep quiet? I didn't talk. I haven't said anything because I don't know anything. I have no connection to any of this. I was overwhelmed with the desire to refute Rena's assertions, but it felt so unnatural for me to come out and say something. It wasn't just Mion. Rena was trying to intimidate me, too. I should be extra careful to avoid doing anything unnecessary, right? Am I planning to be on guard at all times from now on? I don't want to think about what comes next. It's alright as long as I can just get my fun everyday life back. I didn't want to think about anything else. I'm sorry I got caught up in these strange things. Anyway, I should hurry up and go inside. It's time for Rena to head home.
じゃあもう遅いからそろそろ帰ろうぜ。
逃げる気？
Rena's cold voice cut into me in a flash.
なんでそうなるんだよ。
そう。じゃ、さよなら。
After saying that in a terribly brusque voice, she quickly turned and started walking away. It felt like I was being abandoned. I was left dumbfounded. I wanted to say something to Rena, but I couldn't think of anything. It took all my strength just to watch Rena walk off from behind. Rena drifted further away, but after a few steps, she suddenly came to a halt and promptly turned back to me. With a frightening look in her eyes, full of doubt.
ケイチ君、大丈夫だよね。
This chapter is weird? All the chapters are weird. The strength of her tone had me at a loss for words. Rena's eyes were piercing straight into my heart. What would happen if I betrayed their trust? That's what Rena's eyes were telling me.
ああ大丈夫。
Then Rena turned her back once again and started heading home. After watching Rena completely disappear into the distance, I rushed into my house to escape. Chapter break. Chapter break.